let's just wait for a few minutes till people join, and then I guess we are good to go. So let me introduce myself first. I am Muskan Jindal, and I scored All India rank 87 in Civil Service Examination 2019. So this was my first attempt itself, and I've in my background I've done graduation in BCom Honours, and my optional was Commerce and Accountancy. So for today's session, it's going to be a general session on how I prepare and the 1 year strategy I had for the preparation, and in the end I'll take up your queries, and then we can discuss upon those. So again, my optional was Commerce and Accountancy. So let us begin. So 1 year strategy I'm going to discuss what I did before exactly 1 year before when I gave my attempt. So I'll start with GS, then I'll go to discussing how I completed my current affairs, and then to my optional, and in the end I'll take up the queries. For GS, what my strategy was, I started with the NCERTs first. Like I divided time period and I took one subject at a time. Suppose I started with geography, and then I started with the NCERTs for geography. First reading I did of the NCERTs, then I moved on to the previous year questions, like for prelims and mains. After completing reading on to those previous year questions, क्या होता है ना कि जब हम एक बार प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस पढ़ लेते हैं तो हम लोग को पता लग जाता है कि किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस एग्ज़ाम में आ रहे हैं या एग्ज़ाम की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. सो दैट हेल्प मी अ लॉट, एंड आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू रीड द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. सो फर्स्ट रीडिंग एनसीईआरटी के लेने के बाद आई डिड द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. So, is it all right if I speak in English and Hindi both? Can people please tell me just? Otherwise, I'll speak in English only. Are you all comfortable with English and Hindi both? Okay, so all right, I'll speak in English only. So we have many people who want to speak who want me to speak in English only. All right. So like I said, I divided I'll take one subject at a time. Like suppose I started with geography, then I moved on to history. All the subjects for GS, GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. So what I did in each subject was, firstly I did NCERTs for each subject, first reading of the NCERTs. Then I looked on to the previous year questions. From 2013 onwards is good, I guess. I refer to from 2013 onwards only. Before that it's not actually required, I guess. So after reading the questions, I got to know like which are the important areas and what kind of focus I want to put in each of the topic, both for pre and mains. Then after looking to the questions, I gave again one reading of NCERTs so that my base is clear. So uske baad I refer to the standard books. Once my base was completed, then only I moved further to the standard books. उससे पहले मैंने स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स नहीं स्टार्ट किए थे. जैसे हर सब्जेक्ट में एक स्टैंडर्ड बुक रहती है, हमें पता है कि these are the books which we have to refer, and these are very common. So those books I referred. Suppose G.C. Leong I referred for geography, and polity के लिए लक्ष्मीकांत. Also Spectrum I referred for modern India in history. So probably I'll share a book list some other time. Today I'll discuss the strategy only. So after the NCERTs, 2 reading of NCERTs, I refer to the standard books. I gave one reading of the standard books, and then after I was complete with these steps, I referred to the sectional tests for each subject. You must all know, if you are preparing, that sectional tests for each subject are available in the market. So I referred to those. This was the first step which I did in my preparation. I am repeating. I started one subject at a time. firstly I did the NCRTs, first reading of NCRTs. Then I moved on to previous year questions, both prelims and mains. Then I again gave a second reading of NCRTs, and finally I moved on to the standard books, and after that I did sectional test for prelims. Okay, so after this was complete for all the subjects like geography, history, polity, I then referred to the standard books again for the second reading. This time I did not refer to the NCRTs because my base was already clear. Alright, so in second reading of these standard books, many of you are asking about note making. So let me tell you, I did not make notes initially because what I feel is like the number of times you read a book, the more you get to know about that book, and because आप फर्स्ट टाइम में ही नोट्स बना लेंगे तो आपको इतना ज़्यादा समझ में नहीं आएगा, आपको इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज भी समझ नहीं आएंगे. एंड यूजुअली ऐसा होता है व्हेन वी स्टार्ट ऑन रीडिंग अ बुक वी मिस मेनी ऑफ द फैक्ट्स इन द फर्स्ट रीडिंग इटसेल्फ. So when you do go on to read it second or third time, you discover that oh, that was also there, we missed it in our first reading. So I did not make notes initially. What I did was, after giving a second reading to the standard books, I gave a third reading as well. So 3 times I read each of the standard books, and then I made notes, but my notes were very crisp. Like I just made very short notes which I can refer just right before the examination. So this is very important. I feel कि मैंने detailed notes नहीं बनाए थे. I just made very crisp notes. That was my strategy for GS. So basically this I did in GS for each of the subject, right? And then moving on to the current affairs. So in current affairs, newspaper was kind of non-negotiable for me. I used to start my day with newspaper only, and for newspaper I referred to The Hindu initially, and then I started reading both The Hindu and Indian Express. Any one of them is good, you can refer to any one, both are equally good I think. So also current affairs के लिए newspaper से I did not make any notes from newspaper. What I used to feel was that if I'll make notes from newspaper, like every day I'll spend around 15 to 20 minutes on note making from newspaper. So in the end I'll have a very large compilation which will be very difficult for me to revise and read. So I did not make notes. What I did was, in the end I refer to the consolidated magazines which are available in the market for preparation of current affairs for prelims as well as mains. So there are many institutes which provide these consolidated magazines. I refer to Vision like the PT 365 and Main 365 magazines. So that was for current affairs. Also what I did was, when we read newspaper there are sometimes editorials which are very good. So I used to cut those editorial down and make questions from editorials itself, and then I would write answers from that editorial for mains, which would help me. So that much I did for current affairs. One thing it is to be noted here in my strategy is that I kept my resources really limited. What I feel is, like, there are many people I've seen, they refer to online sources as well for current affairs, like PIB Padlo, and they read daily compilations and all that. So I did not do that. You can do that if you have time, but I felt that अगर आप newspaper पढ़ रहे हैं and in the end आप consolidate कर लेते हैं, I think that's good enough. Otherwise it depends on you. If you want to read, there is very much good material available. But one thing I did was that I kept my resources limited. So apart from this, my optional was Commerce and Accountancy. So for this also, I kept the resources really limited. Like there is this rankers notes available in the market for Commerce and Accountancy. I did not take any coaching for it. I did it on my own since my base was clear from my graduation itself. I did BCom honors in graduation. So in that I refer to those notes only. I did not read any standard books or anything for commerce. Those notes are really good and crisp. So I revised those notes again and again. For commerce and accountancy, my routine was that while preparing for GS itself, I would take like 2 to 3 hours every day for my optional subject, and it took me around 3 to 4 months to complete my optional before like prelims. So that ways I used to do. Either you can take it depends on you actually how you want to frame your routine. I'm not sharing my daily routine here, but just to tell you that I took 2 to 3 hours every day for my optional subject. Now moving on to answer writing. So for answer writing, what I did was I used to take like if I'm reading some particular subject, so I would take previous year questions from that topic and I used to frame answers on that. So here I would like to say one thing, like most of us have this notion ki when to start answer writing, or it's never really fixed कि आपको कब आंसर राइटिंग शुरू करना चाहिए या कब नहीं करना चाहिए. आंसर राइटिंग इज जैसे आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं आप साथ साथ शुरू कर सकते हैं. राइट वन आंसर स्टार्टिंग में यू कैन स्टार्ट विद लाइक राइटिंग वन आंसर एवरी डे एंड देन यू कैन मूव टू 2 आंसर्स. सो and many of us feel like ki it's this there is this inertia that answers likhna shuru karna hai but hum nahi kar pate hain. So this happened with me as well, but you'll start, once you start you'll see that you are actually improving in it. Initially what I used to do was if I'm writing some question, I would do good research on it for around 30 minutes and then I would frame a rough answer. And then again I would frame a fair answer, like cutting the lines and all that. A fair answer I would prepare. Starting में initially for 1 month I did this, and only after that I was like confident enough to write an answer without preparing beforehand. So you can start with this always because you cannot write a model answer in one day itself. So that was my strategy for answer writing. Now, as we know that there are exactly 2 months left before prelims, it's on October 4th, so around 2 months are left. So I'll tell you what I did before 2 months before prelims. So in the first month, like by this time I'm sure who are giving attempt this year, you must have completed all your syllabus, like you must be revising now, right? So what I did was in 1 month before prelims, I revised all my static portion. Like all the subjects. I did not revise current affairs in the initial month. I just went through all the static portion because UPSC is really unpredictable. You cannot predict कि current affairs का कितना portion रहेगा या static का कितना portion रहेगा. So you need to give equal importance both to static and to the current affairs part. I revised static in the first month for all the subjects, and then in the last month I revised the current affairs. Again, I did current affairs entirely from the consolidated magazines in the end, and also I used to attempt like tests every alternate day 1 month before prelims. So you can say that I attempted around 15 to 16 tests before prelims 1 month in the last month itself. And I think giving test is very important. Mock test help a lot in prelims because when we attempt test again and again, we realize कि question कितने wrong हो रहे हैं या what is the ratio in which suppose I used to attempt around 80 to 85 questions because over the time I realized कि I am doing wrong around 20 to 25 questions. That was my ratio. Like the wrong questions would be around 20 to 25. So to score comfortably above 100 in prelims, I used to attempt 80 to 85 questions. That was my practice. So that ways you need to attempt tests. That helps you to know ki, what is your wrong ratio and how much questions you need to attempt in the exam itself. So that was my strategy 2 months before prelims. So this is the broad strategy which I referred 1 year before preparing. Now you can ask me questions. I am turning on the comments again. So please put up the questions and I'll answer accordingly. That was the broad strategy which I wanted to share. I hope you got some clarity regarding the preparation. So questions you can put up. So many of you are asking कि NCERTs से नोट बनाने हैं या नहीं बनाने हैं. So I did not make notes from NCERTs. It's not really important to make notes from NCERTs. I used to make notes which were very crisp, and I made it after reading the standard books thoroughly. What my practice was, I made such short notes कि एग्जाम से पहले हम जल्दी से रिवाइज कर सकें. That I used to feel. डिटेल नोट्स मैं नहीं बनाती थी. अगर मुझे डिटेल रीडिंग करनी होती थी, I used to refer the book itself. And for old and new NCERTs, history के लिए I referred old NCERTs like from class +1 and +2 for both medieval and ancient history. And for modern history, I referred the NCERT, old NCERT as well as spectrum. I did not go beyond that. Again, I am saying that I kept my resources really limited and I revised them again and again. So that was my basic strategy, and I think that has helped a lot, because what happens is this UPSC, there are a number of resources available in the market. So if you will study this one thing and then go on to other thing without revising the previous one, it's of no use. So that's my advice, that keep your resources really limited and then revise those resources again. Okay, so someone is asking how to read the Hindu editorials. So there is nothing like how to read the editorials. There are quite good every day, like many important topics are going on in the news, and those editorials are covered. So you can read them if you find good data in them, or you can see like some question can be framed from those editorials. Then you can actually write some answer. Otherwise, you can just give it a reading and have an opinion about the things going on. That's just how I used to read. So also for books, I'll broadly share subject wise. For geography, I referred to the NCERTs, and also GC Leong I referred. I did not go much beyond that. Map exercise I used to do. That is one thing very important, because in mains you need to do draw diagrams and all. So I used to draw maps and refer to the atlas. Atlas I referred from this Black Swan atlas is available, or you can refer to Oxford atlas as well. Both are equally good. So that was for geography. For history, I already told you, like I did not go beyond old NCERTs for ancient and medieval, and for modern I referred to spectrum and the old NCERTs. For art and culture, I referred to some of the YouTube videos which are available. Also the class 11 fine arts NCERTs is good. If you read that thoroughly, I think you will be able to do both for prelims and mains. For polity, after reading the NCERTs, I referred to M. Lakshmikant, and that was the only book I referred for polity. Did not go beyond that. I did not read D.D. Vasu or any other book. And for ethics, I referred to the newspaper editorials, and lexicon I did for ethics. Lexicon book is available, so that was there. And for other subjects such as international relations and internal security, all these subjects I did through newspapers and online material I referred, no standard book as such. And about magazines, I already told that I referred to the magazines by Vision PT 365. You can also refer magazine by other institutes, like Insights magazines are good. Anyone is good. Which one you can take a look and see which one suits you, and any of the magazine you can refer. Okay, so someone is asking me, this is a good question, like without coaching if we can crack UPSC or not. So yes, totally you can do it. I referred to both some online coaching and offline coachings as well. But one thing that was most important in my journey was that I relied on self-study. सेल्फ स्टडी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आप कितना भी कोचिंग ले लीजिए, कुछ भी कर लीजिए, आपको सेल्फ स्टडी करनी ही पड़ेगी. इट इज़ नॉन नेगोशिएबल इन दिस, बिकॉज you cannot substitute coachings with this self study. And so I feel like ki if you are not taking any coaching, so today everything is available online. You google anything and you will get it. So YouTube and Google, you will find everything. So it's not like necessary you want to take coaching only. You can do it without coaching very nicely. You can do it and get great ranks. So order of the subjects to start from, it can be in any order. I'll tell you mine. I started with geography, then I did history, then I referred economics. Yeah, economics we missed. For economics, I referred to, I had actually my economics was pretty strong because I had commerce and accountancy as my background. So what you can do is, for clearing the basics of economics, you can refer to there's this book by V.K. Jain publications for class +1 and +2. So that book is really great for economics, for clearing up your doubts in macro and as well as microeconomics. You can refer that book, and after doing that you can refer to the notes by Sriram IS. That notes are good for economics. Also, other than that, I don't think it's really required. Very basic questions, if you see past year questions, very direct questions are asked from economics. So that much will do. So I was telling the order. After economics, I did polity, and then I did ethics, and then the remaining subjects such as international relations, internal security, art and culture. This was broadly my order. It's up to you actually. You don't need to worry about the order of subjects or anything. I'd like to add one thing. So what I've seen is, like during my preparation also, I had friends who were preparing for UPSC. So what some people used to do was, they used to compare like what I am doing and what they are doing, and there was this competition. So what I used to always feel like कि competition हमेशा खुद से होना चाहिए, because इतने सारे लोग एग्जाम दे रहे हैं. If you start on comparing, तो आप उसी में रह जाएंगे, आप कंपेयर ही करते रह जाएंगे, and आप प्रिपेयर कब करेंगे. तो कंपटीशन खुद से रखिए. ऐसा होना चाहिए कि आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, so you should move forward. You should not compare your strategy with other. You can refer to strategies by others, but you should do the thing that works for you. It's very important. Something might work for me, some resources might work for me, but may not work for some other person. So that's very important, that your resources should be suited to you. You can do anything, but the strategy should be yours. Make your own strategy. Do what you are comfortable in. So that is very important. So how much time I used to study daily? It was not actually fixed, like I have to study this much only. My practice was that whatever I study, it should be quality time. Like what happens is, sometimes we are sitting for around like 5-6 hours at a stretch, and we are not able to study even for 3 hours. So that is not right. What my practice was like, whatever time, like even if I am studying for an hour, it should be effective study time. So that was my practice. I'll tell you, like I used to set my weekly targets, like this week I'll complete this much, and then next week I'll complete this much of syllabus. But ऐसे कोई watertight compartment नहीं रहता था. Some days you can study more, some days you can study less. But when you are calculating your progress overall, it should be forward and not backward. So that should be your practice. And for optional subject, many of you are asking if it should be from your stream only or from some other. So there are many people that choose their optional based on the consideration that if it's scoring or not. My only consideration was that whatever subject I choose, I should be doing it properly. So that is why I chose Commerce and Accountancy, because I was already acquainted with the subject. I had done it in my graduation. So I did Commerce and Accountancy. Also, see, there's this thing, whatever subject you choose, if you're not studying it properly, then you won't be able to score, right? So that consideration कि technical subjects लेंगे तो scoring नहीं होगा, I think that becomes irrelevant after a point. अगर आप बहुत अच्छे से prepare कर रहे हो, so you will be able to score, I guess. So choose optional based on your interest, because बहुत vast syllabus होता है, आपको बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़ना है. If you are not if the subject is itself monotonous, अगर आपको interest नहीं आ रहा है उस subject में, then it's of no use. And someone is asking if we can attempt in graduation final year. Yes, you can attempt. There are two requirements. First is like you should have a graduate degree, and second is you should be 21 years of age. That is the minimum age. So I completed my graduation in 2018 itself, but I could not give the exam that year because I was not eligible. I was 20 only then. So 2019 was my first attempt. And someone is asking me like how did I manage UPSC preparation and social media. So like this is very important. You need to maintain a balance. See, you are preparing for around year or two. If you cut off totally from these things, then it will become very hectic and monotonous and sometimes boring as well. So you need to have a balance both for your social media, social life and your educational life. I used to do that only. When I am studying, when I used to study, I did not use to get distracted by social media or anything, but I did kept some time every day for social media, and I would use it then. So I think that's important. You can do कि दिन में you can take out like 1 hour for social media, कि उसमें ही आप चलाएं, आप Instagram use कीजिए, Facebook है. So that ways you can do. It's not like कि आपको पूरा cut off करना है. अगर आप cut off पूरा कर देंगे, then it will become difficult. So that's my suggestion. So after 12th, I did BCom honors. Someone is asking like my English is poor, so how can I improve it? So newspaper reading is the answer. If you read newspaper daily, it helps a lot. Initially, what you can do is you can keep a dictionary by your side. The meaning words which you are finding difficult, you can refer those, and after some time you will find that you are actually improving. Also, watching English movies and TV shows helps. It does. So that you can also do if you are interested. Like if you find it good as a hobby, it can be developed that also. You can watch good English movies and TV shows along with it. So my optional was Commerce and Accountancy. Again, I referred to the ranker's notes for it. Someone is asking. So for essay I left, yeah. Essay, what I did was, my basic strategy was that I prepared the broad topics. Suppose we have broad topics like women empowerment, poverty, or some topics related to ethics. So I used to like have data on these topics, women के लिए data like on crime and whatever related topics are there. I would make a compilation for good quotes and data related to those topics, broad topics, and then when I used to write the essay, I used to incorporate those quotes. It's very important to include like quotes and data. Also, you can write some poem or anecdotes while you are writing essays. It makes essay a bit more interesting to read. So you can have those kind of approaches for essay. I did that only. You take up 10-15 broad topics like education, and related to Indian society like unity in diversity. आप ऐसे topics ले लीजिए और उससे prepare कीजिए, and then you can use those quotes and data in whatever topic is there. You can incorporate them. That will help. For environment, I referred to current affairs for the most of the part of it, whether it was prelims or mains. Also, you can refer to the book by Shankar IS for clearing up the basics for environment. It's a good book. Yes, you are supposed to complete full Lakshmikant. It's very important. Okay, so many people are asking me tips about beginners. So I'll just say a few points. Firstly, maintain your focus. Like, I had this thing in mind right from my childhood that civil service is something I want to do. So maintain your focus, like have your goal and vision set, like this is what I want to do. Don't divert yourself in some other thing. Secondly, have a positive bent of mind. It's very important. What we do is we care about the results more, and sometimes we keep on thinking कि पता नहीं clear होगा या नहीं होगा. I also do it. I used to do it initially. So, but after a point, I realized that you do not need to care about this thing. आप रिजल्ट की टेंशन मत लीजिए. यू जस्ट गिव योर 100% and I'm sure you will be able to do it. Right? And thirdly, maintaining consistency is very important. If you will not maintain consistency in your approach, then it will be difficult for you. UPSC is something all of us can do. It's not like how much intelligent you are or how much you score in school or anything. Anyone can do. The main thing is about consistency, because if you look at the syllabus, it's not that difficult. The syllabus is something which we are familiar with. School mein we have read all those NCRTs. So you need to have focus and consistency. Okay, I left about CSAT as well. Thanks for reminding. So for CSAT, my maths was quite good. I had quite a hold in maths. So I just downloaded previous year question papers from like past 4 to 5 years, and I used to solve them. I saw like you can also do this. Just take out the printout of past year questions and see how much you are scoring. If you are scoring good enough, then you don't need to put much efforts for CSAT. And if you are finding any difficulty, then you can refer to some material or videos on YouTube. There are various videos available for CSAT on YouTube that you can do. Essay I've already told. I'm again telling that I made notes about some of the broad topics for essay. Suppose you have education, women empowerment, poverty. So I gathered data and quotes about all those topics, and then I used to write essays. First, beginning, what you can do is take up the previous year essays which have come and write those. That ways you can follow. For previous year question papers, you can start from 2013 onwards. Okay, so this is one question that at times you don't feel like studying and what to do, how to maintain that motivation, because it's a long process. There will be days when you won't feel like studying. So for those days, what I used to do, I'll tell you. Maybe you can have that or not, that's up to you. So I used to go and sit with my family, with my grandfather. I used to discuss things with them. Also, I would play some indoor games with my cousins. I have a joint family. So we would play games such as carom, and also it would provide some recreation as well. Also, what you can do is, we all have some hobbies or some things which we like to do. So my hobby was doodling and singing. So I would do that. I would doodle something. It would be a good source of recreation. So that's what you can do. to maintain that motivation. Also, yeah, one thing I used to do was weekly, like we are studying for whole week, so I used to keep Sunday off every Sunday. Like I would study properly for 6 days a week, and for 7 days Sunday I would take off to maintain that balance. On Sundays I used to do what I wanted to do, like spending time with family or friends, going on for some outings. You can go for a good movie or something. So that I used to do, and there were times when I would feel like कि syllabus complete नहीं हो रहा है. So you can take a break like every 15 days, if not every week. That's up to you. But you should keep breaks in between. That's what I feel. So I think that's it. That are mostly broad questions which are covered. Some people are asking me about engineering background. I'm sorry, actually I don't have much knowledge about engineering or other background. My optional was Commerce and Accountancy. If there's any related question, I would answer that. Yes, NCRTs are enough for art and culture. You can refer to the class 11th NCRT of fine arts. It's good. And someone is asking about my interview. So my interview went really well, and it was truly a personality test. There's this notion कि interview पता नहीं कैसा होगा, and what will they do, will they grill you or anything. So my interview went well. They did not grill me. I think it's very important. One tip for interview is that you should be honest there, and maintain your calm, be confident. If you don't know anything, just say them politely that sir, I'm sorry, I don't know this thing, or ma'am, I'm sorry. So that's good enough. So that's what I did. I was completely honest. Do not bluff there, because they are so experienced. They'll catch you in a moment. So you don't have to do that thing, and just be yourself. That's what I'll say for the interview part. So I think that's it for today, and Booklist I'll surely share in the coming days. Most of the books I've told already, but I'll share one proper book list with you all for all the subjects, for prelims as well as mains. So thank you so much everyone for joining the session. Hope you all do good, and those who are preparing for 2020, all the best to you all. I hope you clear prelims and this examination itself, and stay happy, stay safe. Good night.